this is how to make a pinhole camera, and you need a box of some kind. I've got an empty cereal box. You could use an empty shoe box. You can use anything that's opaque, as long as you don't want to use it again in the future for anything else, because you've got to cut some holes in it. The first thing you need to do is to put a small hole, mine's there, into one end of the box, and to do that you could use a sharp pencil, or you could use a sewing needle, but please only do that if you have an adult helping you do that. Okay, so you need to put a very small hole into one end. The other end, you need to cut a hole that's roughly 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. The exact size doesn't matter, so just roughly that kind of size, that's fine. And then over the end, you're going to need to put something that's going to act as a screen. So I'm using greaseproof and baking paper, so you might find some of that in your kitchen. You could also use tracing paper, and you're going to stick that over the end of the box. So if you haven't got tracing paper or greaseproof paper, you could try something else that's very thin. So anything you can find that's very thin and able to make that screen on the end. Okay, and I've also sellotaped down the edges of the box as well, just to make sure that that's all nice and stable and we haven't got light getting into the inside of the box. Okay, and then that is our pinhole camera made. That's it. The next thing you need is a light source. I'm going to use this torch, but you could use the lights in your ceiling. Any light is fine. Okay, and so there is a torch all aligned. I'm not going to turn it on while it's looking at the camera because it's going to be too bright. I'm just going to put the box in the way. Well, sorry, not a box anymore, it's a pinhole camera. So I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to line my small hole at this end with the torch, and you can see that on the screen we have now got an image formed, and that is the image of the light that's coming from the torch. So the light is coming from the torch, it's going in through that tiny hole, and it's then travelling through the box and ending up on the screen over here. Now we're seeing an image of that light, and we can change the image slightly. So you'll notice that if I move the box forwards and backwards, the size of the image changes. So we can make it bigger. I need to keep it in alignment with the torch. And we can make it smaller. Camera back, you can see that a little bit better. There we go. There it is. So that change of magnification is to do with the distance from where you are making the image compared to where the torch is. So you can change it, you can change that magnification depending on where you put the screen. So something else we can have a little look at is if I put my pencil in front of the light source, you can see how that changes the image that we have on the screen. What you can see, if you look carefully, is that the pencil is going down from above, but when it appears on the screen, it's coming from the bottom. And that is because the image that you're seeing here is upside down compared to the real thing. And that is exactly the same thing that we saw happening in the eye and on a film camera. So it's the same principle, that the light crosses over and you end up with an upside down image on your screen. So you can take your pinhole camera and you can look at all the different light sources that you've got in your house and see what images come up on the end. Now, it will work better, it'll be easier to see if you're in a slightly darkened room. So if you can't really see anything, have a go at turning off the lights, closing the curtains, and hopefully you'll be able to see more.